right. Hello. Welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging and Friends. We are playing Holler tonight. We have been off. The Lollygagger stream has been down for like a week as most I have not been home. And now we are, and it's very echoey. So apologies. I think I hear the echo more than anyone else does, and it's driving me nuts. But we're back to Holler tonight. We left off on the cusp of a very important, very important meeting with the Fae Queen, and knowing the social skills of the group, I'm sure it's going to go just fine. And speaking of that group, why don't we go ahead and meet them? So let's go ahead and do this the intros. So Chuck, tell us who you playing.
I'm Double D. Got a goat named Cletus, brother named Cletus, brother named Amian. We're gonna have to adjust his name so it matches. Yeah, I'm your dead wife.
Yep. Yeah. Balky showed up at the end. I am your dead. That's in fact correct. Okay. Not only that, but we also met. I think it was the brother of a Spriggan that you abducted earlier in the campaign. So that's very nice. I think abducted is right. Isn't that right?
It's a good word for it. Yeah.
It's abducted or
I did
false imprisonment.
Capture them and then haul them off into a small cabin and held them there for a while. So
there's
abducted.
I can't think.
Kidnapped?
Yeah, abducted. I think kidnapped might be it. I don't know.
Yeah. Then there's the sleep spell.
Cletus
was like, just go.
Yeah. I remember that. All right. Next up, we've got Doggint. Dan, tell us about Doggint.
Everybody, I'm playing Doggint, our alcohol wizard, and also sometimes machine gunner.
Yeah. I've been doing a lot of Dan. I've been doing a lot of digging, going back and looking at the campaign from start to finish as we're nearing the end, and so there's some things I need to go back and check. And I'm just like reminding myself how the previous dog family died. I'm like, oh, I remember this setup, and I have like little stuff in the notes about when this dog and that dog kind of passed away. But
Doggint's been holding on.
Doggett has hung on pretty firm. He's been around since I think it was like Act 3. I think the Fillers Convention, just after the Fillers Convention.
Yeah, right after.
I think that's when the last one died. All right, next up, Cletus. Jeremy, tell us about Cletus.
Hey man, I'm Cletus. I'm Double D's big little brother and Amian's big brother. I'm what you call an Appalachian ninja. And I'm real happy to see that Finster's gun still in play over there. That's pretty great. Look at him.
It is.
He's staring down the barrel and everything.
I like to think that he was like firing it the whole time as he's like, I'm your dead wife. And he's just firing it up in the air like a lunatic.
Yeah, we got to get him some more bullets. Look how happy he is.
He's such a... I got to share the art. I'll share the art this time. I think I have it ready to go. But the art for the Timey Knocker is honestly some of my favorite art from Holler. So it's pretty great. Next up, Melissa, tell us about Louisa.
Yeah, Louisa Palmer is our holy roller. She is old. She is ill. She is wanted for murder, and she can perform exorcisms sometimes. Sometimes she gets a little bit of stage fright and doesn't.
Indeed. I mean, you saved Amian's life pretty fierce when he was possessed by a body demon several sessions ago. So that was very important. Otherwise, Amian might not be with us today if that didn't go well.
I'd be shaped differently.
Definitely would have more broken bones. So that's definitely a thing that was going to start happening to you. All right, next up, Bert, tell us about character Joe.
Howdy, I'm Joe. I'm the repair guy, and I'm the driver. And I learned something new last time. I don't like horses. I don't like them.
Yeah. There were a couple. We've had horses pop up because you guys got the horses from Lester Paulson. Then you had the riders of industry kind of had that fight. And then you ran into these weird kelpies that are essentially horses, but they like to drown you in the middle of a nearby body of water. So horses have been on the brain lately. All right, and then finally we've got the youngest member of the party. We've got Amian. Joe, tell us about Amian.
Yeah, I'm playing Amian, the little brother of the Cletuses. Has been exercised and loving being alive. So it's good.
Fantastic. All right, so let's see. Last time around, we picked up in the aftermath of your big old battle with the Riders of Industry, the sort of the four horsemen of the Appalachian apocalypse, so to speak, that go back in Holler lore, and that you all literally fought them. You killed three of them, and one of them you left alive. Joe actually left him alive when he had him dead to rights, and then you decided to interrogate him. And you learned that his name was Bumpsy Malone, and he claimed to be from the city. That he was hired by the big boys because you Holler folks were getting pretty uppity, and you guys needed to be taken down a notch. He talked an interesting game about these giant skyscrapers, these huge buildings, streets bustling with cars, radios in every home, essentially. But he was also very worried about the blight and about his mask being removed. And eventually he did promise that if you set him free, if you gave him his mask back, that he would speak on your behalf when he met with the big boys next, and that he would change. He promised you. His life has been changed. He has seen the light, and he's seen how you guys have been treated, and he's better. He's a better person now, having done so.
Did we check that his fingers weren't crossed behind his back? Did we?
You did roll some checks, but those were contested checks. So you don't necessarily know if you did well or not. Anyhow, you gave him a horse, and you did let him leave. And later, so after that, later in your travels, you reached the edge of Fayfall, far to the west of Holler. And you crossed near Orchard Lake. I think Amian was the one who stole a few of those melon-sized apples. There were some scrummies. Yep. You've already met scrummies before that were cleaning up the blight from the waters in the area. You started traveling across all the different land. You got greeted by an old friend, as Polly came flying in with an army of pixies and dosed some of you with sleeping dust once more, welcoming you to the Fayfall. Later, you came across, as we already sort of mentioned here, several horses near a creek. Horses that you realized you eventually realized were actually kelpies that were there to defend the land. They weren't just horses, and they would drown you if they got a little close. Not only that, though, as you were standing there, I think it was Joe who noticed that they looked very familiar. They each of the faces of these horses bore a striking resemblance to some of the boys from County Hell. And that Joe had played those knife games with back at Weaver Falls, and you learned then from a nearby Spriggan that they were in fact those boys from County Hell who got changed into kelpies because they were shooting those scrummies for target practice when they were trying to hide out from the big boys here. You had a little conversation with Sparky, had some riddles back and forth about horses. And eventually he led you to a waterfall, behind the waterfall, to the Fey Queen's Court, at least where it is for today. So there's giant mushrooms, there's music without any clear source, there's Fey folk everywhere, including the Queen, who was like atop this massive shroom and was attended by 4 human children. And as you were getting introduced, you heard that sudden familiar shout from an old friend. I am your dead wife. And you saw your old Tommyknocker pal, Balky, grinning as he can only grin and brandishing the gun of Finster Goad. All right, so let's start up. I want to show, before we actually start, it's not working. Of course it's not working. I was going to try to show you some handouts, but they're not working, so never mind. But if you have the Holler brick, you definitely got to look at the top. The Tommyknocker one is so great. He's got this gigantic mouth, and he's got like a pasta pot over his head. It's great. Okay, so we ready? Let's start.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're in the Fey Queen's Court. Cave is showered with this sparkling silvery light. Everything feels very surreal. You can see all these different Fey that are busying themselves around the area, strangely doing like domestic tasks. You see like some of them are dusting, some of them are sweeping, some of them are setting tables or pouring tea to what you think might be invisible guests. And then you see that about 20 feet up, this massive shroom is the Fey Queen, and she's on a throne. You can see that there's 4 human children around her. Sparky just introduced you, didn't say your names because didn't really remember them. And then you just see Balky off to the side screaming, "I am your dead wife." How does everyone react in this moment?
Yeah, hi.
I don't recognize him, so.
Oh, that's right. You were dead. Or you're
You were dead.
sorry. I mean, your character was alive. Your character wasn't there. Sorry, Doggett wasn't there.
But the rest of them, dead.
Yeah. So Balky's like, "I'm your dead wife, bam, bam," and just firing the gun like up into the top of the cave here and there. And he looks over and he's like, "That fat one's named Cletus."
Fucking yeah, man. Look at
And
him.
then, and then he points the gun in your direction.
I don't know how many times he fired.
And he's like, and he goes, closes one of his big eyes, kind of moves the gun around as if he's aiming, goes to pull the trigger, but or squeeze the trigger, but it clicks, and he's like, stupid gun.
Man, we'll get you more bullets. Don't you worry.
Okay. And then as you guys are having that little moment, you hear a voice. I don't think it's familiar to you because I'm not sure if you actually ever got her voice at any time, but you hear a very similar, like high pitched, kind of scratchy voice, like much like Sparky's. However, it comes from a slightly shorter version of Sparky, like one of these Spriggans, got kind of like an orange brown fur, and she's like, "That one right there tried to kidnap me, tried to wife me, that one right there." And she's pointing over at Double D.
I didn't want to wife you anyway. You wanted to wife me.
You wanted to wife me?
No, it's the other way around. I think. I'm pretty sure.
That doesn't make sense.
Why doesn't it make sense?
Husband, you would want to wife me.
Did we want to spouse each other? Is that what you're getting at?
I don't want to.
But like, I'm confused. Like, I don't know how these rules work. We obligated? I hope not. All right, just friends, right?
I don't want to be your friend either.
That's fine. I mean, who gets kids?
What about kiss? I don't want to kiss you either.
All right. I'll step over very protectively, put a hand on Cletus. Good.
And you can see like she just like her lip just like she's like looking at the goat now. Looks tasty.
It's not Daisy, it's friend.
Okay. So then she retreats at that point into the muck.
That was rough. She wanted to wife me, and I didn't. She too for me.
That's because you're doing too much of talking, not enough of that poetry you did.
Yeah. No, I don't want to do it now. I don't want to come back.
That's be dangerous to do poetry here.
It is.
So this whole time, up on top of that 20-foot tall mushroom, the Fate Queen has been looking down at you all with what looks just like utter bemusement at how ridiculous this has transpired. And she just, looks down. "Why have you brought in these things before me, Sparky? Why am I being interrupted with such menial conversation?" And he looks up at her and he's like, "Well, you see, they want their Kelpie friends, right? That's what it was. They want their Kelpie friends turned into not Kelpies. Ain't that right?"
Back into people.
It's one of the things.
That's why. And she's just kind of with a hand, a wave of the hand. "Fine. It will be done. Why am I being bothered with such trivial tasks? If that is all, you may go.
No,
Sparky, lead
that is
them
not all.
out."
Not all.
Hey, get that hair.
Oh, yeah, I got it right here. I'll pull it out of my pocket. This here. I was told to present to you, and I accept.
What is it that you have there?
My name's Double D.
I'm sure it is.
It's Miss Polly's hair.
Oh, Polly. So you see she kind of just rolls her eyes. Oh, yes, you're those humans.
Mm-hmm.
She spoke highly of you all. Well, not highly. Highly for Polly. She says that you were instrumental in aiding one of my scrummies.
Mm-hmm.
And we did it good.
Well, you helped one of my creatures, and I helped 12 of yours. I think I've more than entertained this. You can leave now.
Oh, wait. We got more, but I ain't talking good enough, smart enough to say it right. So, someone else gonna do it. But, hi there.
Mr. Double D, are you trying to husband me?
I mean, I guess if you want, I could talk into it.
And you see she genuinely chuckles a little bit. You see her teeth show a little bit and she smiles and chuckles. But then at the same time, she's quickly moved on to other things as one of her human attendants kind of brings her what looks like a small drink of something.
Well, I mean, yeah, I am far from being a medical man or a doctor or nothing, but I was always told there's a difference between drinking a little bit of tonic to deal with something versus actually getting to what's causing the sickness. And we're trying to deal with them people them scrummy. That scrummy, it was cute as could be. It was amazing. But the whole reason it was doing what it was doing is because that nasty junk that the big boys where we're from is pumping out. And we're trying to deal with them as best we can, get to the core of the problem instead of just doling out some tonic. But to do that, we need the help of the best, which is clearly you from everything what been described to us.
That was a very circuitous sentence. You started in one place and weaved around and went to all these wonderful different locales before finally finding a point. You are here because I can help you? Is that it?
Mm-hmm. That's the one.
Apparently, there's these things what we thought was demons, but maybe is actually our kin been turned in some way. And we was told that you know how to talk to them or somehow influence. I'm not smart enough to know how that works, but you want me to be direct, I'll be direct.
Making a deal with the devil, basically.
Are you calling me a devil? Oh,
No. The things that we need you to help us talk to.
Who told you that I can communicate with demons? Who told you this?
Someone.
Poppy, right?
I think you were told by you would have been told by Lester Paulson. He was the guy, the religious guy at the Tent City Blues chapter. He gave you the horses just before we did Hollow Oak.
Did he tell us that initially, and then Poppy confirmed that?
And I think Paulson previously had a relationship of sorts.
That is what you know, yeah. From his perspective, he was once the Fae Queen's lover, but then was sort of put out to pasture once she became embroiled with an affair, possibly with a demon.
Well, so there was a fella who used to be real sweet on you, and at least from his side, he thinks you were sweet on him for a time. I don't know if you recall Mr. Lester Paulson.
Oh, yes. Lester, yes, very simple child, rather spirited at least. He was an interesting distraction for a short period of time. Relationship, however, sounds more grandiose than I would care to call it.
You know, it's like being a little bitty worm on a big old hook, but you know, it's all matter of perspective. I mean, you are what you are, and we are what we are, you know?
Bitty worm on a really big hook. There's a certain poetry to that, Mr. What was this one's name again? And you hear Balky, that was Cletus. Yes, thank you, Balky. Mr. Cletus.
Yes, ma'am.
So, you are here because I can help you communicate with demons, and you think that doing so will somehow help with this problem that you're having in the Holler, blight and what you call big boys. Is that right?
Yeah, because to be honest, where we're from, we got a whole lot of nothing compared to them having a whole lot. So trying to fight them, just running straight at them would be pretty stupid even for us. And I know, you know, Paul has made it real clear to us that y'all think we're pretty dumb. And I get that. But like, we're trying to be a little bit less dumb and maybe get some recruitment going. Reinforcements.
Well, Mr. Cletus, the secrets that I have are not something I'm sure I want to share. Your problem is your problem. As you can tell, my realm's pristine.
It is. Them scrummies work real hard. They're amazing. What would is there something the scrummies could be doing if they wasn't having to eat up that blight?
What a curious question. That's what they're for.
Oh.
If they
Man, I don't
weren't doing what they were supposed to do, then they would be wasting their time, I think. Yeah?
Do you make the scrummies?
Well, they are made within the Feyfall, but whether I make them personally, no, not quite.
So if the scrummies didn't have a job to do, then whoever's making the scrummies wasting their time too. Could they be doing something else?
That is a dizzying question. What's this one's name? I don't know that one.
Doggant.
Doggant. Yes. Well, Polly did speak highly of you, and you did defend and protect one of mine. But then again, I did just return several of yours to their proper forms, or their human forms, and this was after a not inconsiderable amount of violence that they showed to my creatures. Why, then, when I am quite protective of my realm, and I am quite capable, it seems, of keeping it clean and protected, why then should I do anything for you all now?
Well, these big boys that we're dealing with don't really like staying put. They're kind of like trying to branch out as much as possible. And there's only one place that we've seen them get super interested in, which is one of the only places that didn't have blight. And that was because of your scrummy we found. And so I imagine they're also incredibly interested in this part of the Holler, and eventually we'll be doing something about that interest. So preemptively, it might be in your interest as well to invest in us, maybe.
Yeah, it's like a sneak attack defense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, preemptive self-defense.
The best defense is a good offense.
The best
They're coming right at us.
defense is a good offense.
Eventually, they're going to come for
Very
you.
wise. They are. Who else have they come for? We haven't quite gotten much news of late. What is going on around your holler? I've heard of Hollow Oak. Polly has explained your actions and the various goings on there, but what are the rest of the holler?
Oh, they got the witches.
What do you mean they got the witches?
Oh, yeah, I remember that. They done bound one of the witches to themselves, and it made the witch do work for them, and it seems slightly inappropriate.
It was pretty messed up.
Yeah.
Bound?
Yeah, it was a little
Bound.
like thing, and we had to break it, set the witch free.
Yeah. Man, they got this messed up stuff where they'll take people, basically kill them, shove some sort of weird metal thingy in their head, and then make them keep moving even after they're dead. It is like I'm not a holy roller like Miss Louise over here, but that is wrong to like not let something move on, right? Like that's just doubling down on just wicked.
Hordes of
Seems like they're
working dead.
they're experimenting quite a lot on how to deal with every aspect of things that are in the holler, and I'm sure you're somewhere on that list already.
Oh, they got weaponized blight.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
They got a big boom that shoots blight.
Yeah, we think they
Joe
make
will,
the blight.
Joe will take the backpack off and kind of drop it in front of her. And
Oh, okay.
it's empty now, but they can spread the blight with machines like these.
Mm-hmm.
Valky wanders over, picks it up.
I don't know.
And she'll look down from her perch. They spread the blight with machines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, just think about what they can do with the scrummy. They done catch a full scrummy and fill it up real full and put it in one of these things. They're like a scrummy shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
Pow.
And you all aim to prevent this. And you
yeah.
need my help to do so.
Absolutely.
I mean, hey, why waste your own people when you can send us off to do dirty work
Mm-hmm.
with a little bit of help? But like,
Yeah, really. I mean, like, if we just wander off and die, you're not really out much.
That is true.
There have only
You
been
all
6 of
very
us.
expendable.
We have already created.
And we're trying to bring the fight to them
There's
so
been
that
lots.
we wouldn't have to fight here.
I already lost my cousin and my uncle.
You lost them.
I mean, they're dead.
Oh. Well,
You know, fighting the bad.
they're no
I
longer
think.
human. They might still be ambulatory somewhere. Isn't that the secret of demons, after all?
I mean, I suppose it's possible. I mean, one of them got filled full of lead in such a way that it's hard to describe, and the other one's face got smashed in.
Hey, question.
Yes.
What does the ambulatory mean?
Able to move, function,
Oh, yeah.
travel.
It's like Bladus.
Bletus? Who's Bletus?
I'm like, go. I'll pick up Bladus.
And so she looks down at Bletus. Yeah. Oh, what a very handsome animal. Wonderful. And it chooses to follow you.
Oh, we're best friends. I mean, right next to my brother and my other brother.
it's okay. We know Bleach is your best friend. It ain't no big deal.
I mean, I didn't want to put it out there. Like, I think
Yeah,
I'll
man, it's
highly
okay.
you too.
But to be fair, Yeetus is my best friend.
All right, that's fair.
Who is
Amian
Yeetus?
ain't got a-
Oh, she's the sweetest dog ever. She's old as all get out, but she done gummed about 7 devil dogs to death.
Gummed?
Yeah, one of them bit my left butt cheek off, and then she bit its face off.
I beg your
You wanna
pardon.
see?
Don't
Yes,
she
I
probably don't-
would.
He still sits funny.
He does. We
I
gotta
mean,
get
hell,
a,
Gotta get a prosthetic ass cheek.
when he sits at the table, we gotta put a little wood block to keep him sitting sideways.
I carry a book with me. I can't read, but I do carry a book with me all the time just to prop it underneath.
It's a setting book.
It's my sitting book.
Well, this has been very entertaining, but I have other things to do today. Do I want to help you? Interesting question. So I want one of you to roll a check here. Charm, probably, some sort of or persuasion, something like that would probably make sense. Definitely not intimidate, but and you'll get a +1 from Polly. Putting in a good word for you all. And you also get a +1 because you brought up the danger that the big boys might bring to Fayfall directly. So a total of +2 on the roll there, Amian.
Okay.
Not it.
I'm going to use a boost too.
Yep, sounds good.
Right.
Our audience boost kicks the die size up for a roll.
Got it.
Sweet. So +2 total then?
That is correct.
And then I'm a Benny there.
That's better.
There we go.
Wow.
13.
Okay.
Okay. So
Wow.
she thinks about it for a bit. She takes a couple sips from like the teacup that the human child brought her, and then what you ask then? The power to summon demons or communicate with them? That's certainly something I can grant. However, Fey magic comes at a very heavy price. It is one that most humans cannot readily bear. First, and you can see her face gets actually kind of grave when she says this, you must suffer your darkest selves. Are you prepared to do so?
Got a sober version of myself.
Oh yeah, my darkest self.
I'm Batman.
Yes, ma'am. We are prepared.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Been
well,
doing
we
that
gotta
for
be
a while
done.
now. I'd done a deal once before. It was a bad deal, but yeah, it had darker self involved.
There is a very terrible stench wafting off of you, in fact. Very well. Good luck. And then you see her just sort of flick her wrist, and the room fills with a haze of 100 swirling bright colors, just round and round and round it goes. All of the different mushroom tables, the fae, all of those folks kind of blend together until it's just this tornado of color swirling and swirling around you to the point where you're almost getting nauseous or dizzy. And then eventually it fades. And when the entirety of the color begins to depart, when the haze disappears, you see that you are no longer in the waterfall cave. You don't see the room, you don't see the overhead, you don't hear the sounds of the waterfall. All around you, in fact, you can see a profusion of large, ruddy stinkhorn mushrooms that are erupting from the ground, and it forms a ring that's about 200 feet in diameter. And you all are, and only you all, are at the center. You can see that all around you, on the outside of this ring, there's a crowd of pixies and Tommyknockers and various other fae that are kind of flitting around here and there. Some of them are kind of looking at you, pointing, giggling. Many are like, as you're watching, you see a few of them are like exchanging little tiny shiny stones and like little bits of dust, and like they're calling out to each other, "For the white one, the fat one." And it's almost like they're taking bets of some kind. I don't think any of them are going to make it. What are my odds? And they kind of like they're taking bets, and they're exchanging little sacks of shiny stones and dust. And as you're looking around, you're spinning, and you can see that you recognize one of these faces. As you see Polly, and she is there, and you can see one side of her mouth is like kind of got a smirk. The other side, you can tell for the first time probably since you've met her, a real look of concern on her face. Cletus, you wave at her, and she kind of like grimaces a little bit, and then she just shouts out, "Good luck, weirdos!" Anybody who would like to, go ahead and roll a folklore test to possibly identify where you're at.
Hmm.
You don't have to do it. It's just if you're curious. I know some of you have decent folklore. So if you wanted to roll it and get a sense of where you might be, where you might have been taken to.
11.
All right, Amian with 11. You are a very learned young man. As you're spinning around, and you see all the different rings, the ring of the mushrooms. It kind of dawns on you that you've heard a story before about Old Abraham, and specifically a place called Old Abraham's Fairy Circle. Now, Old Abraham is like one of the oldest residents of the Holler, like literally one of the oldest humans. And most folks kind of presume that he was half fae, and it's 100% agreed upon that he's at least half crazy, but he was a mushroom connoisseur, and especially the kind that kind of caused hallucinations and flights of fancy and such. And he discovered this ring, and he started warning folks about it, saying that like only bedevilment awaited folks who stepped inside. But eventually his tune sort of changed, and he started actually taking folks here, almost like a tour guide, and he used to like spout this little poem. He's like, shining clusters bloom, great spirits loom, ye head sings like the moon, let's launch this little tune. And then you would kind of disappear into the ring. And the story goes, Amian, that anyone who went in here saw all manner of like the most infernal fantasy. Like we're talking rabid unicorns, pixies like squeaking out erotic dirges, man goats cavorting about, and sometimes a beautiful queen with tree branches for arms. And the very air itself had this kind of beating heart to it. And so as this is dawning on you, and you've heard the stories that the people who Abraham took in here into this place, they left mad. Like they had lost their minds. This is what dawns on you as you're looking around. You're seeing these pixies, these fays kind of point. You see the concerned look on Polly's face, and right as that thought comes to your mind, you see how this plume of blight suddenly begins to appear within the circle. First, it's a very small, like the size of like the head of a lettuce, and then it begins to grow, getting bigger, getting thicker, until it begins to start to envelop all of you in this utter blackness. And soon, you can't hear the cackling of the pixies. You can't hear the sounds of them taking bets on your survival. You can't hear any of that. All you hear is just like this little tiny drip of water. And when the blackness fades, you are in a cave again. It is not a cave like the one that you were in with the Fae Queen. It is one that's much dimmer. There's not a ton of light. It doesn't have that like this giant explosion of silvery light like the Fae Queen's Hall had. And everywhere you look, there's the haze of blight, that kind of yellow blackish haze that's just covering everything. And it's all illuminated. And it's this kind of dim green light that's just coating over everything, over each other. You can see each other. You're there. You're all together still. Anything you guys want to do? I'll give you a moment. I'll give you a beat.
Oh,
I
saying
think I would do my best to like relay what I know like quickly to everybody and say like the name. You said it was Abraham's Fairy Circle?
Old Abraham's Fairy Circle.
I'd say that name and I'd be like, I think we're about to be in a really messed up kind of storybook sort of situation here.
all right. Well, Cletus has got 3 of them masks. He'll put one on and hold 2 out.
Oh, yeah, the blight masks.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks,
Louisa
Cletus. I
gets
will
one.
definitely take one of those.
Yep.
I think Joe should take the other one just because we need him as a knife throwing best.
Joe's like
I agree.
reciting some mathematics in his head to kind of ground himself. Keeps him sane.
Okay. So as Amian, you're filling them in on where they're at. Cletus, you're handing out the mask. Joe, you're trying to do these calculations. You notice that behind the haze, that kind of illuminated green haze, you see some figures begin to approach. The silhouettes at first, and they're very dark. like these dark shadows from the other side of the haze, but they're human-like shapes. And they're getting closer, and they look like the silhouettes themselves bear a strange familiarity to them. But as they start to push through the haze, you notice that they are extraordinarily familiar. The shape specifically of a few of them are unmistakable. The rotundness of Cletus, the giant nature of Double D, the sort of the limp, the creaky limp of Louisa, that wide brim hat, and the many knives of Joe, as you see a series of copies of yourselves approaching you. And as they get even closer, you realize that although they look strikingly similar, there are some very, very clear differences. The doppelgangers are extremely grotesque. They're blight infested. They kind of look like what you could have been if like the demon shakes got you, or if the blight kind of consumed you. But they are these like horrific abominations as they're coming up. And as they pierce through that haze, they pick up speed and they kind of close and they start chasing after. And at a certain point, Cletus, Double D, you watch as your giant doubles lift these giant hands up, and you realize that their hands have kind of been replaced. Like what would have been your your 5-fingered hand, they've been replaced, it seems, by claws of some kind. Like something's different. Something has been changed about their bodies, and like you can see this malformed claw as they start charging in. We're going to go into initiative at this point. I'm not saying we're going to go into initiative. So let me get these folks on the screen for you all. I made inverted tokens of all your people for you.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, that was great.
Okay. So
That one doesn't look old enough to be me.
It's fair. All right. So what we're going to do, this is going to be a dramatic task, and it's going to be a very important dramatic task, as you might expect. But there's going to be something like it's kind of like a blend between combat and dramatic tasks is effectively what it is, because every single turn, you're going to be, as part of the dramatic task, like as the part of the requirement for it, you're going to be rolling a spirit test. But that's going to be in addition to whatever action that you would want to take on your turn, right? So that's kind of how it goes. So if you've forgotten dramatic tasks, there are a couple quirks to the rules. Just like combat, we draw cards to see who goes first, all that kind of stuff. But there are a couple little wrinkles. The whole idea is that you're accruing tokens with successes on what you're doing. So whatever it is you choose to do, whether you're trying to attack them, whether you're trying to do something else, whatever you're doing on your turn, successes and raises will accrue task tokens. And at the end of it's going to be 3 rounds. If you accrue a certain amount of task tokens, you will succeed. If you don't, you fail. Now, if during the initiative you draw a club, that means that you effectively there's a complication that's going to happen on your turn. And what that means is that you can still act if you want, but anything you attempt to do is going to be at -2 penalty. If you attempt to do something and fail while you have that complication, the entire task fails. You can choose not to do anything if you want as well. You can still support, if you remember, like you can support other people here and there, but anybody who is characters, if you're assisting with the support option, also suffer that complication penalty. So that -2 is going to ride around a bit. Okay, does that sound familiar?
Yep.
Okay.
I have a quick question in terms of time that has elapsed.
Yeah.
Would Louisa be back full up on PowerPoints again?
How much they restore again? I can't remember. I had it up the other day,
It's
but
5 an hour.
5 an hour. Yeah, you'd be fine.
Okay,
Would my fatigue be gone?
Your fatigue would be good too. Yeah. The only thing that would still be lingering is if you have actual wounds. Those are the only things that would still linger at this point. Okay.
Which I think we're all healed up on that.
Okay. So I've dealt out. So these things start. And so the other thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be asking for your help throughout this as well. It's a sort of, you'll see what I mean. So Cletus, the first one to go is in fact Cletus's doppelganger. Draws the ace. They're going to go first. They start essentially coming up and kind of running after you at this point. But when you look at them, you can see that they are you. You can definitely recognize that they are you. There's nothing at all different. But you hear, in addition to like the slumping of their movement as the obesity has kind of gone even worse, you see they're even bigger and they're sort of spilling over here and there. You see their legs are kind of crooked. You see their arms are kind of flopping around. Like you can see that you've kind of given into that to some degree. The other thing is as they're running towards you, you can see behind them, like in the haze, almost like a film projection, you can see young Cletus, like you, right back there. And there is a young child as well, very pretty young girl. Do you remember her name, Cletus?
Bessie May.
Bessie May.
Bessie May. Yep. That's right after we were both competing to see who could climb fastest, and she lied and said she won. But I let her win that argument because,
Mm-hmm. The thing is, though, Cletus, you're watching, like your concentration is kind of broken between these two things happen. It's like this guy, this gross, massive, the demonic, horrific abomination of yourself is chasing after you. But your eyes
I hadn't seen her in years.
And the thing is like she's the same age she was as when you were a kid. And you hear something echoing throughout the cave, and you realize there's like a soundtrack to it. And some other voice, like some other kid you might know, maybe a rival, says, "Why are you so nice to that fella over there? Like he's just, hey, look at him." And you hear Bessie May's voice, like, "Well, I'm only nice to him because I feel sorry for him. I could never love someone that big and fat and gross and stupid and slow and dumb. You see his family's even worse. No, I just figure if I'm nice to him, it'll be easier to just get away from him faster. That's what it is." And as you hear this, no one else, in fact, necessarily hears this. You might see like ripples in the haze. This creature just lunges out at you with their claw. So they're going to take 2 actions. They do not get penalized for the multi-action. They actually have an ability that lets them not take a multi-action penalty. They get to ignore -2 of it.
Yeah.
So they're going to swing at you with one of these claws. I don't have my physical dice tonight, so I'm just going to be rolling on the what's it called? All right. So, all right. So the attack is up, and I roll a natural 1.
Yes!
So they swing out at you, and they miss. But then that voice of Bessie May comes in again, and you just look at the haze behind, and you hear her come up again. She's like, I can't wait until I find someone cleaner and better than him to just take me away from all this. I would like you to now roll, because I'm going to treat this effectively like we'll call this like a let's call this more of a taunt. Roll smarts.
Okay. Okay. Go.
Yeah, just call out what you do. I don't have everything up.
I got a 5.
Okay. So
Only because I exploded to get a 5.
Yeah, let me roll. I roll another 1.
What?
So, yeah, it's back-to-back 1s. You guys can see it. So you do manage, like you dodge out of the way, and somehow you manage to like keep from getting too distracted. All right. Next up is we're going to shift over to where Amian is. Amian, I mean, you would probably be paying attention with what's going on to Cletus if not for the fact that there is a creature coming at you. Looks a lot like you. You can definitely tell though that they look as if they've been horrifically deformed in some ways, but they also look older than you. Like you can tell that they're not as young as you are, but they're still really small. Like they're actually smaller. Like it just looks like they've never gotten taller. They've never they still have that kind of young look to them. They never it's just like if this is you, if this is adult Amian, you look as childish as you do now. Now you look hideous on top of it. And so as they step forward, like you hear you see this chin open up. And you can see bits of this kind of liquid blight begin to drip down their mouth, and they just kind of look up at you, and they're like,
look at you. You ain't so cute. This is what's gonna happen to you right here. Right here. Always the small one. Always so tiny. Just a little young boy.
and then they're gonna attempt to, I think, taunt. So roll, much like Cletus, go ahead and roll a smarts test.
Okay.
And let me pull up.
11.
Okay, you're probably fine. Let me do that. I actually rolled well this time, but not as good. You do manage to avoid the taunt. Then, seeing that you haven't been, they're chiding you is the ability. They're going to attack you, and much like with Cletus, you can see where your hand should be has curved around to this horrible wounded, almost like lobster-like claw. As they're going to swing at you. Let's see. Got to get used to rolling in this again. Okay, what's your parry?
5.
All right, I will, because I rolled a 4. I will use a Game Master Benny to re-roll that. And I rolled another 4, so they miss again. So both of them charge up at you, and one at Cletus, one at Amian, and both of you miss. And in Amian, it is your turn.
Yeah.
It comes right back around to you.
All right. So you said it's a dramatic task, right?
Yeah. So every turn, you guys need to roll spirit. So which is a separate thing. So you just roll spirit. And then that's what is going to. That's like the dramatic task stuff. But it's also still you're being attacked by these things. So and then you can kind of do whatever action is you want to do.
Okay. So every turn starts with the spirit roll?
Yeah, you can just roll spirit right off the bat.
Okay.
And you didn't roll a club, so your stuff's fine.
So I got a 6.
Okay, very good. So the spirit is essentially like, think of it like you're withstanding the pull of like the dark side.
Morale
kind of,
type
yeah,
thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you can go. What would you like to do?
All right. I guess I'll fight back. I'll use this fancy short sword that I got. Stab back at him. Say, I'm not going to wind up looking like you as long as I got Miss Louisa. And then do probably going to Benny that.
Let me know how you do.
There we go. 7.
7 is enough to bypass its parry. Yeah. Go ahead and roll your damage.
Oh.
So much potential.
Yeah.
Short sword. 14 points of damage. Let's see. What's its toughness? That is going to be something I'm going to want to try to soak. So let me go ahead and do that. So I will burn a GM Benny to roll to soak vigor, right? Okay, I soak 1, which is good. So I'll go ahead and shake. And it will take a wound, still standing currently.
I hope it takes a lot of hits. That'll make me feel bad too.
Okay. All right. Anything else you want to do, Amian?
I think that's my only action. So,
Okay.
nope.
Yeah, I gave these. I burnt some of my GM complications to give these guys resilience so that they could survive just a touch longer. All right.
Okay.
So then the next up, it's going to be the doppelganger for Louisa. So Louisa, much like what happened to Cletus, you watch as this just hunched over, far more than you, old woman. You can see she's got this cane shaking in her hand, and she's kind of stepping towards you. But every time she takes a step, she's just drooling from her mouth. You see this just bit of drool, liver spots everywhere, skin sagging here and there, cataracts kind of showing up in her eye, like her eyes were just kind of gone, like pale, almost white in some ways. And you can see her mouth is moving, but no real sounds coming from it. But in that haze, similar to Cletus, you see, another moment from your life, Louisa, where you murdered someone. Can you describe a bit about that incident, Louisa? Remember how you were wanted for something?
I did. So this was a big boy that was in need of being put down. And so Louisa, not being a particularly strong woman, even in her younger years, she went with the kind of poisoning approach. And so that was her method of pretending to kind of refill some drinks.
Mm-hmm. It was a woman you killed, or was it a man you killed?
Man.
Okay. So we see, like, you see kind of on that haze screen in the back, we see you refilling the drinks, but we see it kind of play out in a somewhat quick succession, moving fast and fast. And then we see the body on the ground, and we see a bunch of children huddled around, kids, grandkids, nieces, nephews, and they're all kind of weeping and weeping. You see the widow leaning over, weeping. And you see this large family of the man that you murdered just sitting there like over top wailing, like, my husband was taken from me. Why? And you see the kids are all like the blubbering is in full force. Their eyes are red, and you can see tears are pouring out over and over, and you just hear this horribly shrieking echo of their wails as it almost distracts you. Like your eyes begin to shut almost from the wince of it all. Go ahead, Louisa, and we'll say roll a. Go ahead and roll smarts. We'll do more talk. And let me know how you do.
I'm going to Benny that because that's a 2.
All right.
And that's a 3.
All right. You are going to be so you are, we'll call you vulnerable. Because I didn't get a raise. So I pre-rolled all this stuff. You are going to just be we'll call it vulnerable. So the results of a taunt is either distracted or vulnerable, and I'm going to go ahead and say you're vulnerable. Because I think vulnerable is the one that makes it easier to hit you, right? And distracted is the one that makes it harder for you to hit, because you get like the penalty on your attack. Okay. All right, then it's going to try to hurt you. As you see, they lift up their cane.
It doesn't need to. It already has. It already has hurt me. It's good. It doesn't have to do anything more.
What you thought was a cane is in fact just this horrible extension of her arm as she was leaning over, hunch in her back. She rears it back. You can see this calcified arm turning into claw, and she's going to attempt to lunge it at you. Let's see. Oh my god, I cannot roll. Yeah, you miss, or your doppelganger lunges out, sweeps out at you with a 2, and misses.
Louisa just holds up her cane. She's like smacks it out of the way.
Okay. Next up is the Doggant doppelganger.
Yeah, I assume that you're saving all your rolls for this one, so
Maybe. I'm gonna take a slightly different tack too, as this one steps towards you, Doggant. And as you see them step up, you look in that haze in the background, and you can see a cabin, and you hear the sounds of gunfire and gunshots, and like we kind of are shifting and moving around, and we see your dog family. You see was it Dogless or was it Dogmore? I always forget. I always get the two confused. Laying on the ground as they just climb out of the window. We see Royster Whitaker is chasing.
that was Dogless getting mowed down.
And Dogless is just there, hand kind of up, and Royster Whitaker just fires the shotgun down. We see that the haze kind of begins to shift and fade, and we see a massive bar brawl, and we see Dogmore just getting beaten and kicked. We see the stools coming down on him, someone stabbing him just horrifically with this shard of a broken stool. And as you're watching, and this creature's getting closer and closer, you think that they probably have just these horrible, what looks like claws in their hands. But as they do, you realize they're carrying something. And they just hurl one, and then the other. And you see rolling in front of you, and then looking up at you are the heads of Dogmore and Dogless, mouths agape and open. Go ahead and roll a spirit test as I'm trying to use intimidation on you.
Got a 9.
9 is good. That is good. God dang, that sucks. I actually got a raise on this one. So I rolled an 8 on that one. But no, you're good. You managed to hold firm. You're good to go. And so instead, they'll just attack you. So let me get them up. Let's see. We've got Blight Claws. There we go. What's your parry?
It is 6 currently.
They swing out at you with one of these claws, and you manage with the butt of one of your guns to just block it out of the way. And once more, they are ineffective at hitting. And it is now your turn, Doggin. Go around back to you. Yeah.
Let's see here. I guess since we just got a close-up action on a shotgun, we can just return the favor. See what it's like to get shot.
Absolutely. Go right ahead.
Or do the shooting, should I say.
So since we're at point blank range, we'll use their parry, but it's not that much more difficult.
Yeah. It's just a 5.
It is more difficult than that, however. That is actually a miss. If you want to.
Is it a shotgun with spread? Do you get your +2 to hit?
Oh, that's good.
It is a shotgun.
Does that have spread?
It's the peasant pumper.
Let me look it up. It's been so long. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm not sure where I'd even see that at.
So you've got, what do you have again that gives you it?
The
You
peasant
have
pumper?
Edges. No. What's your edges? Like,
well, I've got like rock and roll and hard to kill. Like, I don't think I have anything that's specifically for shooting.
Okay. All right. Do you want a Benny then?
Yeah, might as well.
Okay. Yeah, it's a 6 you need. Like their parry's a 6.
Oh.
And you got a 7.
I got a 6.
Okay. So there you go. So 7 total. Roll your damage.
All right. Oh. Yeah, well, it was all right.
Okay, 13 points of damage.
A lot of ones.
I will try to soak that if I can. Some of it anyway. Okay, so I'll soak 1, which means so that would have been shaken in a wound, but because I was able to get a 5 on my vigor, he doesn't actually take any damage. Right? Am I doing this right?
Dang.
That's long. Okay, so yeah, and I also need you to roll that spirit test for the task. Okay, yeah, you're good to go there. All right. Next up on the list is Double D. Yours hasn't gone yet, but you do see Cletus and Amian and Dogant that are like scuffling with these horrific versions of themselves. You can see your horrific version. But they're a little ways out. They haven't actually engaged you just yet. What do you want to do, man?
Hey, I mean, first thing I'm going to do is walk up to him. Like, hey, man, you look ugly shit. You more than me. Who's your goat now? Hey, the rose got done got bleedus.
As you walk up and you start talking, you start asking them, you see that they're walking, they're moving, and you can see there's something attached to their ankle. And with every step, they're just dragging something behind, and you see a chain is extended out from their ankle and is connected to the neck of what looks like Bleedus, but Bleedus is just a carcass being dragged across the ground.
That ain't right. That ain't right at all.
And then you just hear, you can't make a word he says.
Speak for yourself. I got all that. I tell you what, man, you stay right there. I'm gonna get that thing unattached from you because we gotta put that poor thing there. Get a proper burial. So I'm gonna go and try and like yank this chain off his leg or something. I don't know. Like, see what I can do.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, that'll just, if you're just trying to yank the chain, sure. Go ahead and roll, I don't know, just athletics, I guess. Probably
all right.
Physical.
I got a 5.
A couple of you have slightly different stats, so I do have to switch between them because I tweak them a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
A 5? Yeah, I mean, a 5 is enough. If I'll say a 5 is enough to break the chain, and you can see that you managed to bend. It is rusted and old, and one of these you managed. And so yeah, the chain is broken. Okay. So you do that. You have the carcass of Bleedus on the chain in your hand. Go ahead and roll a spirit test while you're at it.
Sure. That's the right one. That's the right one. 9.
Okay, you're good to go. All right. All right. Next up then is going to be Joe. Joe, similar to the others, you can see that Double D has run off and is like dealing with his double. Cletus has been attacked by his. Amian, Louisa as well. Yours is kind of moving back and forth a little bit, like kind of eyeing you down here and there, and you can see all manner of knives and weaponry just drenched all over their body. But they haven't yet gotten close to you. What do you want to do?
Other than my doppelganger, what is the closest other doppelganger to me?
Let's see. Let's see which one's closest to you. We'll say Cletus's.
Okay. I will nod at my doppelganger. Joe is a very analytical guy that always calculates the odds. So I'm going to calculate that my opposite number does the same. So I'm not attacking me. I'm attacking the closest other doppelganger to me. As I throw some knives at it.
Go right ahead. Yeah. We'll say, yeah, just normal range then, because you're not close enough to require the parry. Five is a success. Yeah, roll your damage. 8 points of damage. All right, so let's see. That does not clear his toughness, actually. You throw, and Cletus's double is bigger and fatter, and he's just this huge mass. and your knife just kind of just bounces off of it, like ineffectually, just boom, and collapses to the ground. I also need you to roll a spirit test for the task.
This is when our eyes meet, and I give him the nod. Oh, yeah.
Okay, good to go. You guys are doing really well on that spirit test. Okay, that is Joe's turn. Cletus comes to you, man.
The smart play would probably be to just try and punch this thing. But I don't think I will, because they got double ones. I think he like dodges the claw. He hears the taunting, but instead what he's going to do is he kind of, as he dodges the claw, he pushes the one hand away, and he's just going to lean his forehead into the forehead of his doppelganger. Listen here, now you know this is bullshit. You know that voice ain't true. Bessie May ain't never spoken no words like that. She ain't never said nothing like she done nothing but take care of her family. She ain't never done nothing but show you kindness. And that little fuck over there who's speaking that shit, that's the one we sent to go get that apple. And you know what happened to him. You know this is all bullshit.
Your double is just going to grin really wide and just blow some air in your face. And this is when I'm going to cash in the haint that you owe me from last time.
Fair.
And I think this means, I think we're going to carry it over as a little bit of blight cloud comes out. Your eyes get all watery. You kind of get a little heat on the face here and there, a little disoriented. And when your eyes come to, everything just looks a little different. Like everything's just not quite what we just saw a moment ago. And we just see, you see over over to your left, you just see sweet old Bessie May, right? There she is. And there's this colossal looking monster that's just kind of hitting her with this huge stick. I think you want to go beat up that thing with that huge stick.
I'm gonna fucking kill you. You get off her.
Go ahead and roll your attack.
Okay. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna play it fair. I'm gonna do call shot head, and I'm gonna do frenzy.
Okay.
Because if somebody was attacking Bessie May, that's what he would do.
Okay, fair enough.
Fighting plus 2. Oh, frenzy. There it is.
Put that in my notes. I'm like, don't forget. Jeremy owes you a haint. Okay.
Oh God.
Let's see.
An 11 and a 9.
Both of those hit. Both of those are raises.
Oh.
I'll narrate what's happening in a second.
Oh God. Oh God.
Stop grinning, Jeff. Stop grinning. It's okay. Serious moment.
Okay, so here's the first one. No. Oh God.
Oh,
Okay,
no.
so that's the first one. Oh God. Oh God.
Jeff doesn't need to roll well. We just need to roll well.
I just need to just need to get control of Cletus or Double D really quick, and everything's fine.
Oh God.
The rest of you watch in horror as Cletus, who is just shouting at his double, just suddenly turns and with the full force of a bull charges at Louisa and begins beating and bashing her head.
Oh God.
So let's resolve this. Louisa, you have a toughness of 5. And the first attack is a 26 damage to you.
Oh no.
Would you like to try to soak?
Yes, I would.
Oh.
It's a bigger roll, right?
That is a vigor roll, correct.
Oh.
I'm going to do a boost.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Use as many boosts as you need.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to do that. I'm actually going to have to roll physical here. So my vigor is a 6. So I'm boosting that to an 8.
So you're currently taking 4 wounds from this. You're shaken in 4 wounds from this.
Yep. So if I roll vigor, do I still roll the d6 with it?
I'm sorry. Yeah, yeah. You always roll the d6 because you're a wild card, basically.
So I rolled an 8. So let me roll it again.
Okay.
And a 1.
Okay. All right.
So 9.
9.
And your 6.
Okay. So and roll the 6. Just so you never know. I could also.
It was a 4.
All right. So a 9 is a race. So that means is that you are going to essentially. So I said it was going to be shaken in 4 wounds. So instead, it's shaken in 2 wounds. So you're still kicking. Then the second hit comes in for 15 points of damage. Would you like to try to soak that, Louisa?
You have to spend a penny to soak, right?
You do.
So this is my last penny.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm going to spend a boost again. So I'm rolling a D8
Absolutely.
instead of a D6.
Use everything that you want to use.
I'm so sorry.
This is the best. This is the best way.
This is the worst.
Oh, that is a great question. Who did you give the order to shoot or stab you if
Joe.
you did that again? Okay. Oh, boy.
Oh, gosh, that's right.
Yeah.
Good call. I'd forgotten about that. That's a 4.
So it's 1. Okay, so a 15, that would have been, what, 1, 2, 3. So you soak 1, but 2 more come through, which means you were at 2 wounds, which means you're up to 3rd, and then a 4th wound comes through, correct?
Yes. Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so let's go ahead, and I think that means you're down, right?
Yeah. Then you do the vigor check against injury.
Yeah. What's it called? Is it bleeding out? What's it called? I always forget the name of it. Damn it.
It depends on how you do. Like on your, you do a vigor check against your going down,
Yeah.
which
I just
can
wanna
affect
get
whether or not you're bleeding
chart
out.
up.
Or
Sorry. I don't have all my stuff up, so I'm a little.
Tracy says immediate vigor check with wound
Mhm.
penalty.
Yeah, go ahead. Roll the vigor. Roll your vigor. You got your wound penalty, which is a -3, unfortunately.
It's a 2 when I am out of pennies.
God.
Okay. Okay.
I did not crit fail, but I did fail.
Yeah, crit failing's really bad on that.
Okay, so you didn't crit fail, so you're not immediately dead. So I think this means you have to roll on the injury table, and it means the injury
I
is
lost the butt
permanent
cheek.
and you are bleeding out. So go ahead and roll 2d6s, Melissa.
I rolled on the injury table.
No,
and
you.
got a
Okay.
and got a 5. Guts, your hero catches one in the core.
Roll an extra d6 because there's a sub menu to that one.
Does it? It looks like it rolled again.
Oh, did
for
it?
that?
Okay.
Yeah, it
So it
says
rolled a 2.
your roll was 2.
All right. So a 2 then. Okay. So a 2 is then you are broken. Your agility die is reduced to die type, and that is permanent. And you are
My
bleeding out.
D6 goes down to a D4.
Oh, makes sense. You're an old lady.
Yeah,
Why am I
pretty
smiling?
much. It really
Why am I
does.
smiling so much? Because this is crazy. It's terrible. Okay. So all of you just watch as Cletus just all the way across and just starts to pummel Louisa to the ground. Louisa falls in a heap.
Oh,
Now,
God.
I want to double check one thing because I think if you, in this encounter, I think if you get incapacitated, you might also have to make a demon shakes test.
Oh dear.
Oh, no,
boy.
no, you're good. It's specifically by a doppelganger. So since it was Cletus, you don't have to make that roll. Okay.
Oh, good.
That's an upside.
Yeah, there you go. Things are looking up. Next up.
That just means if we're about to die, we kill each other.
Next up, we see Joe, your doppelganger on the other side was kind of walking back and forth. And you can tell that he's all by himself. Like all the other doppelgangers have kind of charged in, fighting, and he's just kind of off on his own, all by himself. And he looks around and he looks around and he grins. And then he's going to hurl he's going to go ahead and hurl a knife at old Amian. I think that's the next easiest target after Louisa.
Oh,
me make sure I put this in here. So he's got same sort of claw grip, but he's just sort of throwing. It's going to come up blade claws. But
No, he's attacking me because I'm the most dangerous.
Is that? Yeah, that's totally what it is. So he's going to throw. He's going to throw this little kind of calcified looking bone in Amian's direction. Let's see. Sorry, that was supposed to be public. I did roll a 2 and I missed. So that misses.
It showed up.
Oh, did it show up for you guys? Okay, perfect. Sorry, my bad. I thought it was private. My bad. Okay, so next up, it's going to be. Let's see. Next up, it's going to. Actually, no, it's going to also try to. I think it's going to try and taunt Joe. Joe, you watch as it's kind of moving back and forth, and you see it kind of just pushes back a little bit of a coat. It's got like a duster on, and you can see that right on its side, like on its hip, it has like a holster, and it looks like there's a gun sticking out of it. And you just hear this crackled voice come out.
I'm your Huckleberry, coward.
So go ahead and roll a smarts test. This is trying to taunt you, essentially, into attacking it. Just laugh it off. You know what he's trying to do. He's just trying to distract you while everything else is going to shit around. And then we come finally to Double D.
He nods when he attacks Amian. He's like, yeah, I secretly hate Amian.
Joe joins Cletus. Finally, Cletus is doing it. All right, and so Double D, you've just ripped this chain, and you have the chain in your hand, and you look back up at the other Double D, this hideous looking monstrosity, and he just says,
Danger noodle.
And as you look down,
Oh no!
it wasn't a chain that's in your hand anymore, but it's a massive python. Its mouth opens wide and right onto your face.
Ah!
I mean, I'm so sorry, but that's great.
It's a snake! Run, snake!
Go ahead and let's see. Before it does this, go ahead and roll a spirit test.
Important questions. What is the snake saying to Double D?
What does the snake say?
I'm hungry.
Give me your
go ahead.
mouth. That's what it says.
Go ahead and roll a
Bites me on the
spirit
face.
test.
You got a 5.
All right. Let's see. Oh, I didn't record it for this guy. All right, let me roll his intimidation. Sorry, I thought I pre-recorded all of them. All right, so this is an intimidation from him. You rolled a 5.
Hey.
All right, he rolled a 7, so he succeeds. You are, we're gonna say vulnerable, as this is a terrifying moment, as one of the worst fears. It's a freaking snake that's trying to stab out at you. Let me roll my attack.
I didn't forget. That was a 4 for me. Doesn't make a difference, but
Okay, fair enough. So let's see. He's going to. The thing with him, though, is I think he's going to do this twice because he's got your stuff, which is two-fisted, martial artist, all that kind of stuff.
They punch real good.
So he's going to hit you. So this snake thing is going to bite you twice. First one, 3. That's a miss. Doesn't manage to pierce through your skin. Second one is a 1. I'm rolling trash. It bites you, but it doesn't ever like latch on. You managed to pull it off just quick before it was able to sort of really wrench into you.
Bangs just gets stuck in the beard.
Exactly.
We got not my money maker.
Okay. So that is the end of this round. You guys did a really good job with the spirit tests. I can tell you that. But let's go to the next round. Whew.
Was there anyone that failed their spirit?
So am I skipping my turn because I'm down?
Oh, did I skip you? My bad.
I'm basically
I did skip you.
grayed out on
That's right.
the thing.
That's why you were. Yeah. So
I did have a club though, so
All right, let me make sure. So bleeding out, I just want to touch on bleeding out. So you're dying and you got to make a vigor roll at the start of your turn. Failure means that you perish. With success, you survive, but must roll again next turn.
Is that
With a
the roll that we
raise-
did immediately after I was? I
So
took the shot?
so what you did initially was determine because you got incapacitated. So you rolled, and that determines whether or not you die immediately, whether you take an injury, whether the injury is permanent, whether you're bleeding out. You failed that roll, and because you failed that roll, you have to roll in the injury table. The injury is permanent, and the character is bleeding out. So that's what failure means. So when you go to bleeding out, it says the injured character is dying and must make a vigor roll at the start of their turn. Failure means Louisa will, in fact, die. You can use all.
Can other people like interject to try and stabilize?
You can.
on their turn. So like this round, for instance, anyone could try to stabilize. It's a healing roll, or just if someone has magical healing. Unfortunately, Luis is the one with magical healing.
So people could have before it was my turn.
It depends. I don't think so, because I think that it would have just been. I think it would have just been. I think Joe was the only one who went, because I think Double D and Doggett had already gone. Cletus was the one. It was on his turn that it happened. Amian had already gone as well, so I think it was just Joe that might have been able to. That's it. So Lisa, use as many of those boosts as you would like to use. Go right ahead.
Yeah, I'll take a boost.
I also have the conviction. I can't remember what conviction does. I wrote it down before.
So conviction is basically like an extra D6 on top of everything. And every roll that you do for that round, you get to roll that additional D6.
You should use that, Louisa. You get an extra D6 that you add. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to roll this in Foundry then. So it's a D6 and a D6 and a D8.
Okay. And you use all the boosts that you want to use, the audience boosts and stuff?
Yeah, I grabbed an audience boost to make my vigor a D8 instead of a D6.
Okay. And all you need is a 4. All right. So I saw.
No, hold on.
I saw a 6. A 6
right,
exploded. Roll another D6.
All of this is at a -3.
Is that a -3? I still think you're fine, because one of your 6s exploded. Roll another 6.
Okay.
Even if you're fine, because even if you got a 1, you'd still be at 4.
So your total would have been 15 because of the explosion and because of the conviction extra D6 -3. So your total is in fact at 12. You have passed. And with a raise, which you did get, so not only did you survive, but you stabilized, and you don't have to do any more rolls after this. So you actually, because of burning that conviction and getting the
that was totally worth it.
Absolutely.
Crap.
Okay, and so you're stabilized. No one has to save her. You are, unless they decide to do something to bring you up, like you are effectively out of the dramatic task. But there are
Sure.
All right, good news. Another bit of good news. Double D drew a Joker, so everyone gets a Benny back, and Double D you get to go, and you get +2 all your stuff. It looks like Amian and Doggett, you did draw clubs though, so you guys will have clown.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, I don't know if this is possible. I mean, there's something I want to do, and it's going to be a multi-action thing.
Okay.
I'm going to run over. I'm going to try and, fix Miss Louisa, pop out the dents in her skull and stuff.
Okay.
And also, while doing it, I'm going to sing the secret song to try and snap Cletus out of his funk.
Okay.
So how do you want to do? Can I do that all in one turn?
All right. So what I will say is we can just flavor have you beat out the dents, because I don't think you can. You don't. You want?
I don't have healing.
You don't actually have healing.
No.
So,
Yeah, and I was going to ask, what can we actually do?
So we could just say that you're doing that for flavor stuff.
Sure, I'm good with it.
Let me double check something really fast. So yeah, I don't really think there's anything that you can really do in terms of getting her health back without having a healing power. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. Someone. But yeah, so we'll say that you're doing that for flavor. You're beating out the dents in Luis's skull. But yeah, go ahead and roll your. What do we do? Do we want to do a performance test for this? Okay.
All right. This is a 6, a 10. And I'm in the presence of the snake, so it's -1, but I got a joker, so it's a +2. So it's all this.
You just hear that snake as you run away. Hey, coward! Where are you running?
Away from you, you little snow-legged turd!
Big old ugly, hairy-looking chicken running away. Yeah, you keep
Yup.
running. I'm just gonna eat this here goat. Is what I'm gonna do.
Is that
looks
anyway?
really tasty. Yeah, not that one. And you look over, and he has started to wrap himself around actual Cletus. No, he looks real juicy.
Oh, I hate all this. Let's get Cletus first, because he's going to kill someone.
Fair enough.
And then we'll save Cletus, because it takes a long while for a big snake like that to go gulp down.
That is
on
true.
a goat. So I'm going to use a boost and turn my D10 for spirit into a D12.
Okay.
Is that how that works?
That is
No,
how
that
that
ain't how that
works.
works. That's
it
not how that works at all.
Well,
How
D10
dare you?
goes to a D12, yeah.
Nah, my D6 for performance goes to a D8.
D8.
I know how numbers
I thought
work.
you said
No. Yep. All right. I'll start singing the song to bring Cletus out of here. We can dance if we want to. I rolled a 6 on a D6.
Okay.
We can leave our friends behind if we don't dance. And if we don't dance, well, that's an 11 right there.
11 with a raise. Okay.
If your friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, well, they're no friends of mine.
Cletus, the haze that was in your eyes begins to fade as you're still sort of in this like attempt to punch, but it's kind of becoming slow and withered a bit. As you look down, your hands are covered in blood, and beneath you is Miss Louisa once more, and you hear Double D singing.
Oh, God damn it.
Come on, man, you done fucked up and make up for it quick. Save us.
Oh, God damn.
And I slap him in the nose.
Okay,
Oh,
roll
my
an attack. Nice.
nose.
Double D, roll spirit test.
You got
And
it.
you get +2 because you're Joker, I think, on this. Yeah.
Yes. But I get a -1 because there's a snake. So it's a +1.
Okay, +1.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
10's
wow.
a 10. And I do another 10.
Damn, guys.
That's 5. 16.
Okay, very nice. You guys are.
I'm
crushing
very
those
spirited.
rolls. Okay, so you have managed to break Cletus from this trance and fix a dent or two in Luis's head, and Cletus is dying. All right, so the guy who looks much like Joe,
That last snippet hurt.
he
Die.
he looks around, and he sees like he's kind of waiting a bit for old Joe to do something, but Joe's kind of busy with other things in a way. So instead of waiting any longer, he's gonna go ahead and he's gonna pull that kind of strange calcified looking gun from his side, and he is going to he's gonna go ahead and fire it, I think. Let's see. Where is it? Where did I put it? There it is. Oh, that's on the wrong sheet. That's Double D. Why am I putting that on Double D? All right. Sorry about that. So, make sure. All right. So he's gonna fire this gun over at Joe. That's a 14. So that's a raise. As he's going to hit Joe with this projectile made of bone, and you can see this burst of blight kind of comes out of the end of the gun as he fires it. So I'm going to roll damage with raise. Not great damage. 9 points of damage to Joe. Joe, what's your toughness?
6.
All right, you are just shaken. Did not wound. right, next up is Doggin's doppelganger. Doggin's doppelganger. Oh God. Also the. Actually, let me go back to Joe for a second. He's gonna once more shout out. He's just gonna say, "That one's dead, right over there, and then that one's coming next, and then that one, and then that one, and you're gonna be all alone again." Go ahead and roll a smarts test. He's trying to taunt you again, basically.
Yeah, I don't know. We like it alone.
Unflappable, Joe. Okay, so Doggint, he is going to your double. Let's see. He is going to. You can see on his back he has like a bag, not unlike yours, like your moonshine bag, and you see him just start to pull and drop stuff down. And one after the other, you just hear thud, thud, thud. When you look down, there's like no glass or anything like that. It's just head, head, head. And they're all these faces just start looking up at you. And each one of them is a member of the dog family. We see Dog Gone, right? We see Dog More the second, right? What were the other ones we came up with? What you came up with?
Gosh, what was it?
Remember Dog Gone and Doggone It?
Yeah,
Wasn't there a cat one?
Yeah, cat too. Yeah, and they're all just
Catmore.
Catmore.
Dogma.
And they're all just staring up at you. So they're trying to intimidate you again. So go ahead and roll spirit.
Oh man!
Before they attack you.
Yeah, it's 5.
Right, I gotta roll for them. I lost my where I put it. I had a list of like rolls. It's a 7, so that's going to be successful against your spirit, unless you wanted to Benny or anything, and it'll make you vulnerable. We'll say.
All right.
Then it's going to attempt to attack you. Let's see. And it's just going to sort of reach out and fight. That is, what is it? 5? Yeah, 5. How's that do for you? What's your parry?
It is. Oh, sorry. It is 6.
Well, it's actually 7. I'm sorry. Vulnerable gives him +2 to his attack. So with you being vulnerable, he has +2. So it's a 7.
Dang. Okay.
Does actually hit for once. Look at this.
It does.
All right. So I'm gonna roll damage. Let's see. That's gonna be 8 points of damage.
My toughness is 8.
All right. So you are shaken, vulnerable. And that's about it. Okay. Next one is going to be Double D's again. Double D is going to, as you watch this snake wrap around Cletus, like in your mind, you know, like, no, it's going to take a really long time for that snake to do anything. But you see this snake just, its mouth gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's just like a giant trash bag just starting to swallow him whole. And you see it's like in seconds, Cletus is halfway filling the mouth of this creature. Go ahead and roll a spirit test, as this is intimidation once more.
Mm-hmm. Since it's still a joke around, do I still get +2?
It is, yeah, absolutely.
9.
Yeah, I gotta roll them now. I had stuff preloaded and I was gonna do it, but I lost it. You're good. I only rolled a 4. Okay, so then it's going to, while the snake is distracting you by trying to eat your best friend, the Double D doppelganger is just going to try to punch you twice with these claws. So first one is 7. And second one is, oh, there we go. First one's a 7, second one's a 10.
All right, my toughness on its own is 9, parries an 8, so 10 hit.
Okay, so 10 does hit. Okay, cool. So let me roll damage for the 10. Oh boy.
Oh, good.
12 points of
doing
damage.
12 points of damage. All right. So my tough is a 9. So that's just shaking, right?
Just
or is that
shaking.
a shaking? Yeah.
You're just shaking. Yep.
All right.
Okay. We come over to Cletus. Blood of Louisa on his hands, broken from the this weird haze you were in. What are you gonna do, Cletus?
I wanted to try and be nice to myself, and I just wanted to make peace with myself for the stupid things I do, but I'm just so fucking angry at myself. I'm gonna turn around, I'm gonna look at my own goddamn ugly, distorted face, and I'm gonna go and just, fuck you! Why the fuck are you so stupid? Why you do such stupid shit, you goddamn worthless son of a bitch? Why the fuck did you do that? I'm gonna punch my doppelganger.
Fantastic. And take a Benny, Cletus. That was awesome. Take a Benny for that.
will.
Okay. Go ahead and punch away.
Do that. I'll be trying to punch him in the head. And we'll see how that goes. It's a 9 hit?
9 will hit. Yep, it does.
Okay.
Not a raise, though.
Not a raise. That's fine. All right. So first hit. For 10? I don't think that's enough.
That is exactly toughness, so that would make them shaken, unless you wanted to re-roll it.
I'll take shaken.
All right, he's shaken.
And then I'll hit him a second time.
Okay. That will wound.
Okay.
And you wounded him last time, I believe, correct?
Well, I shook him last time.
You shook him last time. Okay. All right.
Maybe I'm tempted to Benny that.
I think someone. No, I think didn't you? I think you wounded him last time.
Well, I didn't actually. All my rolls last time were just against Louisa.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Unfortunately,
sorry. I'm mistaking you for somebody else.
I got wounded.
Yeah.
Okay.
You rolled pretty well.
So he is shaken. So Cletus is doppelganger shaken and took a wound. Okay. And go ahead and roll that spirit test for the dramatic task.
Oh yeah, spirit test.
You guys are doing very well on that part, at least.
7?
Yeah. I mean, it's just a normal spirit test. So 7's a success. That'll add a token. Okay. And that is Cletus's turn. We'll move over to Joe. Yep. Joe, you unshake.
I have to unshake. Yeah,
you're good.
So
It did it for you. It did
Oh,
it for
it
you. Yeah, it just automates. You're good to go.
So can I act or I'm just unshaken?
You're unshaken. You're free to act however you like.
Okay. I'm going to shoot Cletus's doppelganger.
Okay. Go right ahead. All right. Once more, just range. You're close. You know.
Oh,
it's a miss.
I'm going to Benny that.
Benny?
I'm going to Benny it.
Do you want to boost?
Yeah, the audience boost will basically give you an increased die size on the roll.
No, this is not that important, I think. So no, we'll save it. Just spin the reroll. Yeah, just gonna miss.
All right, you fire away. I mean, you're hitting him, but he's just so big, and it's just like you could just see the bullets just kind of embed. They don't really sort of explode, or the knives that you're throwing just prick him a bit here and there, but doesn't quite get it to work. Go ahead and roll that spirit test, though. You can still get the movement on the dramatic task.
Oh!
Oh no.
Okay. Let me double check what critical. That's a critical fail. That's why everyone's going crazy. Okay, so critical fail and dramatic task reduces progress, basically. So you guys have been accruing tokens, so it basically just subtracts it. It doesn't end it or anything like that. So you guys are just,
like a -1 token.
Yeah, so you just essentially lost the one that Cletus just got. Is it 2?
Okay.
Let's say 1.
Tracy says.
Tracy says 2. I'm gonna go with what she says. That sounds way better for me. So
That sounds way worse for us somehow.
I mean, I want to argue with Tracy, but at the same time, I won't argue with Tracy.
Exactly. Okay.
She's a lot smarter than I am.
No, Tracy, don't sell yourself short. The book might be the book, but you know, you're a person. Person's way better.
This is your baby, right?
Yeah.
And like you get to say what your baby does.
Exactly. All right. So that was Joe. Now we're gonna go into the doppelgangers once more. Amian, yours was shaken. That was the one that was wounded, by the way. The one that was wounded was Amian. Amian's is wounded. He's gonna come up onto old
him.
Amian. Yeah, because you stabbed him. Let's see. He's going to. I'm trying to think of how he could try to taunt you this time. And he just kind of sidles up next to you, and he's just like, you just hear that crackly voice like, "They ain't your brothers. They ain't your family. They ain't caring nothing for you. Look at them over there. They left you to die on your own. They don't care about you at all." So go ahead, roll. We'll call it we'll call this a taunt. Go ahead and roll smarts.
Okay.
And I'll do the.
Is that contested?
It is contested, and I did roll a 5. So if you want to, Benny,
I can
go
Benny.
for it. Okay.
Yeah.
You're perfect. Your Elan is just enough, actually. Yeah. All right.
Yep.
So you are not going to be.
I love that ability.
It is pretty
It's so
great.
good.
Pretty great.
All right. So it's just going to attack you then, you jerk. All right. Let's see. 5 to hit. I can't remember.
That matches my parry.
All right. Then it hits then. So it's a regular hit.
Yeah.
I roll damage against you. 8 points of damage.
Okay. My toughness is 5.
Okay. So it's just shaken.
Okay.
All right, then Cletus's will go, and boy, did they knock their shake and roll out of the park as they roll 14 to unshake. They
That's
will
fair.
go. And like you were just screaming about how much, like, why you do such stupid things? Why are you so terrible? And you just hear the voice of Bessie May, and you look over his big old fat shoulder, and you can see her just looking out at you from that haze. And she says, "It ain't him that does it. It's you. 'Cause you big, you dumb, you fat, and you useless. And that's why I left you. You're just gonna hurt me and kill me like you killed that poor woman over there. You're just gonna kill everybody. You ain't nothing. You should just go find a cave out there in the Stygians and just crawl up and die. But do the rest of the world a favor." Go ahead. I feel really bad saying that kind of stuff, but go ahead and roll smarts there, Cletus.
Oh God.
As she's
Would
going.
you like a boost?
She's trying to taunt you.
No, I want to fail that one.
Okay. I still have to actually roll it because I lost my pre-rolls. All right. With my wound will fail. I want to pass that, so I'm going to GM Benny that and try it again. I rolled the same thing. Okay. It's terrible what they say. Like, it's awful, but like, you managed to keep your focus. You do manage to keep your focus. Then he's going to come. Let's see.
You're a fucking liar. You ain't best mate.
All right. He's going to. I'm going to frenzy attack. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So he's got frenzy. So.
Oh God.
No, was it called wild attack? I'm going to wild attack. That's what it's called.
Okay.
That's what I meant to say. Okay. So. Or just frenzy. No, it is just frenzy. I was wrong. All right, here we go. Oh, man, that's terrible.
Wow.
4.
Nope.
That's not good. A 1 and a 4. Okay.
I know you're full of shit, best man. Never said nothing like that. You stupid piece of shit.
We're going to come to Amian now. Amian, you've unshaken. However,
Awesome.
I want to draw your attention back to the fact, and this is you too, Dan. Both of you have clubs, which means anything you attempt to do, any test, including your spirit test, is going to be at -2. If you attempt an action and fail, it's dramatic task rules. The task fails. So just keep that in mind.
Oh, the whole task fails?
Yeah, so the rules of a dramatic task is that if you have a complication, if there's failure during a complication, the dramatic task fails.
Okay.
But you can choose not to attempt an action if you don't want to. You still got to do it. You can choose not to try to advance the task if you choose not to. It's up to you. So you're not forced to do anything.
So even failing the spirit test?
So the spirit test is like a special thing for this particular task. But the rules do say just failure. So that's a good question. I don't know the answer to. I'll say no to this. I'll say no. This because the spirit test is more about just you passively resisting. So since it's not an active action, that's what I'll call. Yeah. So if you want to do the spirit test, that's fine. Okay.
I'll do the spirit. 6.
Okay. So that's not a raise, but it will continue to push the total up. Okay. Right. And then you're going to forego taking an action?
I should. But
you just hear the little Amy. This is why they don't think you're a real brother.
I know. I don't think it makes sense for me to not act, even if that makes sense. It'd be pretty emotional about that. So I'm gonna try and stab at me again.
All right, go for it.
I'm a Benny it.
Don't forget audience boost if you want them. Up too late. Okay.
Oh, there we go.
That was a clutch ace as you rolled an 11. Parry of 6. That is a success with raise. Let's go ahead and roll damage with raise.
Awesome. All right. I'm going to say, don't badmouth my family. They chose me.
Amian, as you're screaming that and just cutting away with this short sword, you just kind of hack them and hacking them to bits. And they just start falling to pieces, like crumbling like a stone. And you can see little bits of blight begin to, kind of waft up and disappear from the husk that is now at your feet, lifeless, not moving at all. And you see that little bit of blight rejoins that haze that's surrounding you in the cave. Okay. So not only that, you actually get even more task tokens, not just for the spirit, but you actually for felling one of these, you get bonuses for taking them out. Ooh. Very nice, man. Okay, let's go to Dog It. Dan.
I'm glad I had a Benny left for that.
Dan, you have Unshaken?
Well, I think I'm going to play in. Yeah, I think I'm actually going to play into the fear here of the heads. It's like, I don't want to be the next one and not again. I'm just going to run.
Okay. So you start running. You can still roll if you want, you can roll that spirit test passively, but it's up to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's a -2.
Yeah, it's -2 because of your club. Yeah. That makes sense. You're running. You get Benny if you like.
Yeah, let's see.
Okay.
It's just not meant to be.
So you just turn and run. The rest of you watch as Doggint just turns and bolts and runs as fast as he can away from this collection of people.
Up the pile of heads.
I mean, that's fair.
So Louisa might be down. But Doppelganger Louisa is very much fine. So Doppelganger Louisa, with no one, I mean, she can't really. Doppelganger Louisa is going to waddle over in her state towards Amian, I think.
Yeah.
And it's going to say, you said that you ain't gonna do nothing as long as Louisa's around.
Well, she ain't around no longer.
Go ahead and roll. I'm gonna say she's gonna try to intimidate you. And she's like pointing towards the fact that Luis is dead. Spirit this time.
Is that spirit? Okay.
Yeah. All right.
7.
Roll. Yeah, I got to roll for her still. And you're good. So you're not vulnerable, but then she will just try to attack you. So this is going to be a 2 to hit, so that'll miss. And we'll go to a new round. This is the final round of the dramatic task, y'all. So you got to do it this round. You are currently at 13 out of a required 18. You need 5 more.
Oh boy.
Doggett, you go first. And unfortunately, you drew another club. I'm sorry.
As I would.
Dan, I am going to give you a Benny because I do think playing into the idea of like the head scaring you and running away and choose, I take a Benny for that. I do appreciate that. But what would you like to do on this turn?
Gosh, now I got to think about this. I feel like we need something out of this, but I don't know what I can do that is to kind of just blow the whole thing.
You need 5. And so you can do the spirit roll. You can just do that. And then after that, you can decide on whether you want to take an action. If you do really well in the spirit roll, maybe you just forego the action.
Yeah, let's start with the spirit roll.
Yeah. Go for it.
I just know my dice.
You passed.
There you go.
You're up to 14 of a required 18. So you need 4 more left.
I might call that good enough.
It's progress, man. I think that makes sense. So you just continue running. And like at this point, none of you can even see Doggin. He is just sort of
I ain't gonna die.
Yeah.
Not today.
Just echoing through the halls. And you just hear the voice from the other Doggin. Yeah, you is. As you run away. Joe, you are up. You are good to go. Not shaken. No club.
Is there someone within a shotgun blast range of me that's not in melee with someone else?
Let's see. I would say Doggin Doppelganger.
All right.
As his target has ran.
All right.
And so also your own guy has been shut.
Me ignoring him will piss him off more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do I need to do a multi-action to draw and shoot the shotgun? I do not have quick draw.
Yeah, that would be a -2 if it's a multi-action.
Okay.
So
Yep. So I do want to draw it and shoot.
Penalties. Okay.
Okay, so shooting, and it's -2. You say
Mm-hmm.
-2.
It's still just a range attack though, so you still need to hit the 4.
Do not. It's okay.
Okay. Benny, if you like.
Yeah, sure. I'll
Okay.
Benny it once.
We're getting near the end, so
There we go.
there you go.
Worth it.
Oh my!
Worth it. Raise maybe.
That is a big roll now. It's an 11, so that is a hit with raise. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, and are they within my full damage of a shotgun?
I will say that you could have very easily maneuvered into that. Yes.
So is it just damn? And it is raise. You said.
Yep, you did get a raise. Tons of damage. Oh boy, I see a 6 already.
Ooh,
Oh.
nice.
Okay. 20 points of damage. Toughness of 8. So 8 would shake. 12 would wound. Yeah. Just so as you take a couple steps, you hear the voice of your doppelganger kind of taunting you, getting pissed that you're not engaging him. And you just unload at this visage of Doggett covered in like calcified rock, stuff moving around here and there. You could see little bits of blight kind of wafting up from ears. And as you fire, Doggett just sort of explodes into this rocky dust. And like the wind just seems to take all of that dust all the way over into that haze. As you killed Doggett, the Doggett doppelganger in one shot.
Nice.
Now, Joe, that puts you guys at 17 of 18. If you make your spirit test right now.
So I
you
am
basically
going to
meet the
use an
goal.
audience participation one since this
Okay.
is the more important role. So that just increases the die size, right?
That is correct.
Right. Okay. So
Yep.
I'm going to roll a D10 and a D6 separately here then. So here's the D10 and the D6. Okay. So it's a success.
Okay, success is all you need. So we're at 18. So basically, with the rules of the dramatic test, you hit 18, it's at the end of the round. So you guys have hit your mark. So as long as nobody critical fails to reduce anything, you guys are actually at the mark that you need to be at.
Does killing them count as 2 or 1?
Killing them counts as 3.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's
Killing
pretty
them counts
great.
as 3, and then the dramatic test, the spirit gives you 1 if you pass, etc. So,
Awesome.
so because we're getting over here, if I'll say this, let's just end. We're going to end the dramatic task, and I'll just give everybody just describe how are you ending it? What is like the thing that you want to do? We don't have to worry about getting too much into the mechanics of the action. Think of this more like just sort of flavoring the final, like a quick encounter. So, like Amian, what would be the thing that Amian would be doing here in these last moments?
I think now that I'm kind of out of combat with myself, I would notice that Luis is down, and I'd be rushing over to try and do whatever I can to like stabilize. Even though there's not really anything he can do, but that would be the first thing on his mind after he's out of his combat.
You slide over, you start tending to her, and you just hear the cackling of the weasel doppelganger, like, it's too late, she's already dead. Cletus, what would Cletus be doing as this task comes to a close?
I think at one point, just the two massive forms just slump against each other like boxers trying to take a breather in the middle of a match, and they're just slugging into each other's bellies. You're so fucking stupid, so fucking worthless. Fucking, I goddamn hate you. I fucking hate you. And they're just beating each other senseless until they fall to their knees.
And you just hear, like, as you're both in the knees and it's wobbling, it's like, you hate yourself. Ain't me. It's yourself. And for good reason.
You shut up. You shut up.
And then we'll go to Double D. How does Double D want to end this scene here?
I want to go rip Cletus out of that thing's mouth.
Run over, grab the snake. You rip the snake from over top of Bleedus. Bleedus's head was submerged and part of Bleedus's shoulders and stuff, but you rip it free. You can see the inner linings of the snake are kind of wrenched and ripped by the horns of Bleedus. You just kind of hurl it across the room. And as you kind of throw the snake carcass, mid-flight, it just kind of wafts and turns into what looks like that haze again. And then once more, as if that haze from which those projections of the past were thrown begins to close in on you all until you're swarmed once more by like this dark cloud of blight. And everything goes black for a moment. And then a second later, maybe 2, you see the blight start to fade. And you are once more in the Abraham's fairy circle. You can see that there are pixies scattered around it, kind of assessing, see how everyone did. Some of them are cheering, some of them are kind of mocking, some of them are getting angry because they failed their bet. They lost here and there. You can see that Polly and some of her folks swoop over and over top of Louisa and are trying to tend to her to make sure she comes back up. And you also notice that, unlike before, the Fey Queen is here now. And you guys are beaten and bloodied. Louisa, you're barely coming back to consciousness. And she just looks down at you all. She's kind of on this pavilion above, like looking over as these various Fey folk are carrying her. And she nods down at you, this sense of grim respect, and she says, with a hint of sadness, she's like, "Not so easy facing your own demons, isn't it?"
Not a pleasant experience.
Hated it.
Oh, go ahead there, Joe.
Can I have a scene, Jeff?
Absolutely. Go right ahead, Joe.
Joe will walk over to Cletus, offering him his left hand to kind of help him up. He's got a concern all over his face as he come up. Joe's crying a little bit.
Shoot me.
Joe's crying a little bit and says, "My word's all I got, Cletus." And I unload the unshot gun with him.
Oh, God. I love it. Oh, God. Oh.
Okay. So Cletus, your point blank shotgun to the belly. Slow down maybe from it. Do you want to play that out mechanically, Joe, or do we want to just flavor this? What do you think?
It's up to you guys. Joe is like just torn up over it. He's crying when he does it. And, you know, that's his words. It's
I
like,
love it.
all I got's my word, Cletus.
Do it. Fucking like roll 3d6 and let's see what happens.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah, roll.
let's make the shoot and roll because I might miss.
That's true.
That's true. It is point blank.
Somehow that misses.
Well, okay, so I'm going to spend one Benny just because Joe doesn't do anything half-assed. So
okay,
that's true. That's
I'll
true.
spend
Do
the one
it.
Benny.
Okay.
My God, I love this. This is so good.
Oh my.
Oh,
Oh, there we go. That's a raise. Well, no, wait.
That's a
I've got
10.
a parry of 8. So
Okay, so that's
not a
that's
raise, but a
success.
hit.
Yeah.
It is a hit.
Roll your damage.
Shoot me in the belly.
Oh, it's
no.
almost nothing. Oh, how
Oh, my
anticlimactic.
I deserve that.
There's just a rupture. It's not like going to be a permanent wound, but it's a rupture, and you can just see as your side just blood pouring down.
I appreciate your word a lot, Joe. That's why I asked you to do it.
I just had the one shotgun shell, Cletus. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I mean, it ain't on you. That's on me. Hey, man, you really shot me.
So
I said I would. Said I would, Cletus.
No, thank you. That's good on you. It's a timing thing.
I just have to ask, why are you shooting Cletus?
and
He
you see
made me
as
promise.
Louisa wakes up. Polly's also like above you, and she's just yelling at Cletus, "Just stop it! This is what it means to be demons. Stop it! It's not your fault." And she's like kind of getting between Cletus and Joe at this point.
No, but that's not his fault. I told him if I ever did that again, he's supposed to shoot me, Miss Louisa. You just like,
Oh, all of this was you?
Shoot him
that
again,
got you
Joe.
real good. I need a nap.
Well, I am still here, so I am appreciative of that. Listen to Polly there. It's gonna be all right.
Not all right. That's very far from all right, Miss Louisa. That's very far from all right.
I'll just need a minute or an hour or two, but it'll be okay.
hey, it's okay, Cletus. The whole point of this was the fog messes with us and makes us challenge what we care about most, right? Like, and you being the only one that attacked a friend means you care about us more than anyone else.
What?
Well, out of the mouth of babes, would you look at that?
I don't even understand what you're saying. I'm just gonna lay down in the corner somewhere.
So
It makes sense if you don't think about it.
I'm gonna try very hard not to think I'm good at that.
Cletus, you lay down, lean up against one of these stinkhorn mushrooms. The rest of you as well, but you either sit down, catch your breath, whatever it might be. But one by one, all of you are approached by a fae, like one of them, like a Spriggan that you recognize, or a couple pixies, and they're bringing over to you. And they're each delivering a little talisman, this beautiful kind of whirling talisman. And Cletus, the Balky, kind of comes over to you, and he's just kind of poking you there.
Hey.
What?
And he's like,
Here, come here.
What are you doing, man? I ain't got the bullets. I know Joe over there
punches
got the
you
bullets.
right where Joe just shot you. So you kind of double over.
Oh, you
a bit,
little shit! You
and then
fucker.
he puts the talisman over top, like a necklace over top of you, as your head like instinctively ducks down from the pain. And he taps you on the cheek.
I am your dead wife.
And wanders away.
Uh,
The rest of you, whether it's the Spriggan or whether it's the Pixies, kind of putting it on you, all of you get one of these talismans. And the Fae Queen looks at you all, says, with these, I will fulfill my promise. Be able to communicate with demons. Can appeal to the last vestiges of their humanity. Can even learn details about their past lives. These are not powers that you should use lightly. And should you need to summon them, there is a ritual you can perform. It requires those talismans in a very simple chant. She pauses and kind of looks off in the distance really quick. Well, perhaps not simple for your clumsy tongues. It's ancient language of Fae that could take a while. But I would prefer if you not use this unless it's truly needed. And so the last thing we see as we fade out from here is her repeating the phrase, and you all kind of practicing going through and her teaching you the ritual. And that's where we're going to go ahead and end on that. All right.
Fantastic.
Jeremy almost killed Melissa.
Oh my gosh.
yay!
That made her really, really dicey all of a sudden. It was going pretty smoothly until that point.
Ah,
Okay.
Oh. And Joe,
Fantastic.
character Joe shooting through teary eyes.
I really love that. That might have been my favorite thing that you still shot
So
me
great.
at the end.
So great. I love it.
All I
The
have is my
worst
word.
damage roll ever.
It was pretty bad. You're right. It was really anticlimactic, but
Maybe best in this case.
yeah. All right, that's the end of Act 8. So we have 2 acts left, and they're kind of blurred together in my mind the way I'm kind of playing them. So we don't have that long to go. Somewhere between probably 2 and 4 sessions, I think, somewhere in there. We'll see how it plans out.
Okay.
But we've got about 2 to 4 left, I think. So we'll see how it goes. So I think probably by the end of the summer, I think we'll definitely be done. So we're getting there. But why don't we go ahead and do some closing plugs, and then we will get on out of here. So, Chuck, what's the okay doing?
That's me. Sorry about that. It just hit me. No, on Wednesday, we're taking a little break from Alien. We're going to do some DCC. On Friday, I think we're finishing Universe Ball Anthology. I think that's the plan. We need to hurry up and get that done. That way Joe can start running his game that he's making. And then I think this coming Saturday, we're going to be over on Grim and Perilous Plays during the day with Melissa and Jeff and Dan and Steven and Maitre. Am I forgetting someone? Adam, of course, Adam.
Adam, yeah.
For some Tales from the Loop.
Is that going to be the finale? You hinted at that last time.
As long as everyone shows up, I think that's going to be the finale.
Nice. Very cool. Jeremy, why don't you tell us about this Patreon?
Yeah, we're gonna do some Patreon. We got comics, maps, tokens, other fun stuff. Check it out.
Perfect. Links to everyone's stuff is in the chat. If you're watching Twitch, check the notes on the YouTube. If you're watching this later, let's see. Bert, about Steam Still Murder.
I'm probably not running anything this week other than Saturday's Weird Frontiers on the official Goodman Games channel.
Fair enough.
That's
Fair
it.
enough. Okay. As for us, we are sort of getting back to it. We will be back tomorrow night with some Forbidden Lands. So that's the plan. So Steven will be running us through that. Friday, I might end up just running some more Black Sword hack. Some stuff has cropped up, so I'm going to probably push Delta Green back 2 weeks, and so we might do some more Black Sword hack on Friday in that space. And Saturday, tentatively planning to do the finale for Twilight Imperium that we missed this past weekend, but that is subject to change. But we are still planning to do the rest of the games this week. And then next Monday, we'll be back to Horror of the Orient Express, hopefully, Call of Cthulhu. And in 2 weeks, we've got more Holler. So it's great to get back to this. Thanks to everyone who played tonight. Thanks to those of you who threw some bits and some subs and such out. We really do appreciate it. Follow everyone's stuff. And also follow this raid, as we're going to go ahead and raid Happy Jack's RPG. Have a good rest of your night. We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.
Bye.